Hola, amigos. Welcome to the Fat Loss After 50 Vodcast. I thought we'd have a little bit of fun today and we would do a Q&A because I've gotten some questions about the blueprint. But first, let's take a moment and subscribe because you're going to want to follow along on this journey. I am on a journey to lose 100 pounds in a year, and I am losing fast. Last week was 4.4 pounds, and I'm changing things up as I move into week 13. So give me the old thumbs up. Let YouTube know that this old fart might have something nice to share with other people. So let's dive right in. I'm trying out a new microphone here. If you continue to see it, it worked. If you don't continue to see it, it didn't work too good. I don't know. My daughter gave it to me. She's like, here, try this. Okay, we're giving it a try because we're all about trying to make things better, right? So let's jump in. The first question I had was, do I have to eat eggs, bacon, and toast for breakfast? Absolutely not. I've mentioned in one of my other videos that my favorite breakfast is eggs, bacon, and toast. So in order to make this transition easier, and because breakfast is the largest meal of the day and the meal that, according to chronobiology, affects your body a lot differently in a good way, why not start with what you like? You're making enough changes. Start with whatever's your favorite, but make some tweaks to it to fit the protein, healthy fat, and fiber, because that's what's important. So, if you like oatmeal, figure out a way to make the healthiest oatmeal you can and figure out a way to throw some healthy fat in there, whether it be chia seeds or hemp seeds or sprouted pumpkin seeds. All of these things are great. But the main thing is to start yourself off your day with something that you enjoy, that's easy enough for you to make every day, and it makes this transition easier. So I hope that helps. This is not a strict, you have to follow exactly what I'm doing. But I will tell you this much, it works. 4.4 pounds last week transitioning. I haven't even made the full transition. I had eggs and bacon this morning. So that was the last of my eggs and bacon. So from here on out, it will be more plant-based. And let's move on to the next question I get a lot of. Are there any foods that you completely avoid? And the answer to that is, in the beginning, I'm going to say no. I mean, we want to limit ultra-processed as much as possible. So we want to, if it comes in a box or in a wrapper, those types of things, it's probably ultra-processed. Don't mess with it. Let's just get out of that arena right away. That's probably the biggest change. I like to say that there are no inherently bad foods, but if you want to get healthy and you want to lose weight, then you need to start thinking about the foods that you're eating. So think about it. Does it fit the profile? Protein, healthy fat, and fiber. If it does, if it's not ultra processed, maybe it's minimally processed, maybe you need to work on, if it is ultra processed, finding a more less processed way of having that. That's fine. There's no inherently bad foods, so let's just try and make smart choices. So let's move on to the next one. Do you really have to eat the same foods every day? If you're like me and you like simple, quick, and easy, it's the best way to go. You can shake things up from week to week or whatever, but for the most part, it makes your grocery list easy. It makes your food prep easy on the weekends. If you've got to prep lunches, dinners, any of those kinds of breakfasts, prep stuff for your breakfast, all that stuff, it makes it easy. So you don't have to eat the same foods every day. What we're looking for in the blueprint is, I'll say it again, protein, healthy fat, fiber, king, prince, pauper. So that's what we're looking for. And if you love to make different things and experiment with different things, have at it. I don't have the time or the luxury of, making recipes every day and doing things like that. So I keep it as simple and as easy as I can possibly keep it. And in the beginning, you may want to as well. And if you get bored with a food, start thinking of what you can replace it with. What can I change this over to give me a little bit different taste profile, flavor profile? That's fine. That's why this works so well. It's so flexible. Next question is do you have to have a smoothie for lunch? And the short answer is it's probably the best idea to have a smoothie either for breakfast or for lunch. For me, it works well to have it for lunch. If it works better for you to have it for breakfast, you may need to add something to it. You may need to add a piece of that, guacamole toast or avocado toast to it to make it a bigger meal. So that's the focus. King, Prince, Pauper. If you want to start your day with a smoothie and, a little bowl of yogurt with some granola in it or some pumpkin seeds in it, or, you want to start with whatever it is. It's just make sure breakfast is the biggest meal of the day. So if you're going to do the smoothie, you're probably going to have to add something to it to make it a larger meal than whatever you're having for lunch. Here's a biggie, and it comes at me, and I'm in this position. So it's easy to answer. I need to get healthy, but my spouse and family don't. Any suggestions? That's what I live with every day. My spouse does not need to be on this diet. Unfortunately, at this point in her life, she has not decided that she wants to eat healthier, and she doesn't really have a weight problem. Could she stand to lose a few pounds? What person out there primarily doesn't? It's like 80% of people need to lose 15 to 20 pounds to be a little healthier. So she's just not at that point on her journey yet. And I make all of my own food. That's another reason why I try and keep it simple and easy, because I'm not making it for the three of us. I'm making it for me. If my wife asks me to cook something for her, I cook it for her. But, I deal with the fact that there are, pudding cups in my house and Little Debbie's in my house and popsicles in my freezer and, unhealthy choices every single day. And that's why I have my own cupboard. My own cupboard has my things in it. And that's the cupboard I go and look in when I need to stuff something in my pie hole. I don't look in the other cupboards. I do all the grocery shopping, so I have to go through all the aisles of the grocery store to buy the things that my wife and my son enjoy, and the things that my wife says, hey, put these in the house because the grandkids are coming over, that type of thing. But I just don't eat them. Hope that helps. Next question is can you get enough protein on a plant-based diet? This is obviously for after week 12, where we're starting to eliminate as much of the animal protein as we possibly can. The short answer is abso-freaking-lutely. So there has been this stigma on plants, and I was victim to it for a long time too. I thought we needed all this protein and we needed all this, and plants didn't have, and plants have complete proteins, including all of the essential proteins that you need. They're called essential because our body can't make them. So plants have everything we need, with the exception of B12, and a good source of iodine. And once this will be in step 7, but iodine and B12, unless you're eating sea vegetables for your iodine, which I don't care for sea vegetables. I've tried them. They just don't work for me. I also don't eat seafood. I don't eat fish. So, kind of goes with the smell thing. So, but if you're eating sea vegetables, you're fine on iodine. If you are lowering the amount of animal protein that you're getting, in other words, the amount of meats and cheeses that you're eating and stuff like that, yes, you do need to supplement with B12. Jump over to nutritionfacts.org. I'll link that website in the description and just look up B12. He gives you the exact dosage you need to look for. You definitely want a chewable or a sublingual because it needs to mix with your saliva in order to do everything that it needs to do in the digestive tract or what it is. He explains it better than I do. So hop over there and learn about B12. But B12 is not a concern while we're still eating meat and cheese in the first 12 weeks. But the answer to that question, again, is yes, absolutely. All the plants have all the proteins that you need, all of it. And you can get plenty of protein from plants. So the next question is how do you make sure you're getting all of the nutrients that you need? With the exception of what I've just mentioned, B12 and iodine, if you eat a plethora of plants, in other words, you don't just eat iceberg lettuce, look at my smoothie recipe, look at my potatoes, look at my breakfasts and things that I do, and I will continue to post different recipes and things on here. As long as you're eating what they call the rainbow, you're getting a whole different assortment of plants, you should have all of the nutrients that you need, all of them with the exception of B12 and iodine. I take a multivitamin just to cover my bases. Most of the vitamins that are in a multivitamin, if you don't need them, you pee them out. So worst case scenario, you're spending money on a multivitamin that you don't need to take, but I err on the side of caution. So if you're eating a good assortment of different types of fruits and vegetables, you got all the nutrition you need with the exception of B12 and iodine. Next question is how do you meal prep or plan ahead to stay on track? The simple answer is that I try to make it as easy and as simple as possible by eating many of the same foods day in and day out. So I know what I'm having for breakfast every day for the week. I know what I'm having for lunch every day for the week. I know what I'm having for dinner every day for the week. And if I need to prep something on the weekends, it's typically something that takes a little bit longer to cook or prep. Like I just did rice, beans, and potatoes for my breakfast from here on out now that I'm out of eggs and bacon. So, I spend a few minutes in the kitchen on the weekend and I cook some potatoes and cook some rice and that's it. Package it up. Boom, done for the week. So it's really up to you how simple this is or how difficult this is. Because like I said, if you're one of those people that likes to try new meals and foods and combinations and you want to keep everything, lively every day and make different things, you're going to have more meal prep. For me, it takes me less than an hour on the weekends to meal prep and plan ahead. And as far as tracking everything, daily tracking sheets are on the website for free, SpainImpossible.com. Click on the health. They're right there at the top of the screen. Daily diet tracking. Click on it, download it, print it out. Boom, you're done. If you want me to, I'll put together a journal and sell it on Amazon KDP and make a few bucks off of it. Actually, that's kind of a good idea. Maybe I should do that so that people don't have to worry about printing them out at home. But they're there for free. Go grab them. That's how you track everything that you need to track on the blueprint. So the last question I have for you for today, guys, is how do I handle eating out or social situations, particularly once you make the jump to being more plant-based? For the first 12 weeks, I recommend you cancel your social engagements unless it's something like a wedding or family get together that's planned for this certain time of year, this certain week, or whatever it is. If it's something that's been planned for a length of time, obviously you don't have to say no to your niece's wedding, whatever. I would encourage you to eliminate all fast food and all restaurant food for the first 12 weeks. Remember, the first 12 weeks is when we're building the habit of King Prince Pauper, and we're building the habit of thinking about, does this have fiber? Does this have healthy fat? Is this ultra processed? Am I getting an amount of protein with this meal? Because you do want some protein at every meal. But the protein, what they tell you is 0.8 grams of protein per healthy body weight in kilograms. So not your 300 pounds, what your healthy body weight is, which for me would probably be around 160, 170. Change that to kilograms. You can Google that, real simple, change it to kilograms, and then multiply by 0.8. A lot of us are getting way more protein than we actually need. And again, on nutritionfacts.org, go over there and check on his recommendations for protein, whether it be plant-based or animal protein. So I got off topic like I do, but the way you handle social situations, the first 12 weeks, my recommendation is cancel whatever you can cancel or don't make plans. If it involves eating out at a restaurant, fast food place, whatever, keep your food tight for the first 12 weeks. After that, as you're making the transition to more plant-based, it depends on your comfort level. If you're comfortable, hey, let's go out with friends, I'm going to pass on the alcohol that I might have had, and I'm going to pick a salad. Or, I'm going to pick something that's healthier. That's completely up to you. But that's how I handle it. The first 12 weeks is bar none, unless it happens to be like family reunion, wedding, something like that that's been planned. Because those people are depending on us to show up, and I'm not going to say, hey, I'm not going because I started a new diet. Remember, if you fall off, if you have a bad day, if you eat bad, number one, track it and track it right so that you know what you did a few days ago for sure, and get back on the next day, because you don't have to be perfect. You want to be as consistent as you possibly can, but you don't have to be perfect. Nobody's perfect, not even me. So that's it for today, guys. Remember, if you got value from this, please help me keep this free. I'll put the QR code up over here. Buy me a coffee, or 3 or 5 or 10 or whatever you can help swing my way, because I know there are people out here that can't afford to get this information in this kind of a program because they can't pay $97 or $1,000 or $297 or whatever. And I want this to be free, because when this came together, when I found this, when I stumbled into this way of doing things, it changed my life. And it can change other people's lives as well, as long as they're willing to be committed to the 2 principles of 3: King Prince Pauper, protein, healthy fat, fiber. That's all it is. That's all there is to it. So remember to subscribe and like if you have not already, and help YouTube know that, hey, this old fart might actually have a little wisdom that he's passing on. So that's it for today, guys. Remember to come along for the journey, because it's going to be one hell of a journey. Hasta luego.